The arrogant mistake. Aboard the gleaming warship Krakshin's Pride, Admiral Zelthus studied the tactical display with all 6 of his crystalline eyes. The Zexian Empire had ruled this sector for millennia, their mastery of biotechnology, unquestioned throughout the known galaxy. Their war beasts, carefully engineered killing machines built from the most lethal predators across 100 worlds, had terrorized inferior species for generations. The human settlement on Proxima VI shows no advanced defensive structures, reported Science Officer Vector, his scaled tail twitching with amusement. They have established rudimentary agricultural zones, basic housing structures, and what appears to be primitive recreational areas. Zelthus clicked his mandibles in contempt. Another primitive species that somehow stumbled into space travel. They expand like vermin without understanding their place in the cosmic order. Ready the war beasts for deployment. In the depths of the warship, containment pods hummed with sinister energy. Each housed a masterpiece of Zexian bioengineering. Creatures that combined the speed of stellar cheetahs, the cunning of void serpents, and the raw power of gravity bears. Their neural implants ensured absolute obedience to Zexian commands, while maximizing their killing efficiency. "Commander, shouldn't we issue an ultimatum first?" asked Junior Officer Krexus, earning disapproving hisses from his superiors. "These mammals barely qualify as sentient," Zelthus growled. "The Coalition approved our petition to reclaim this territory. A demonstration of force will encourage them to evacuate other disputed regions without unnecessary bloodshed." Proxima VI glowed beneath them, a jewel of blue-green beauty that humans had transformed through masterful, if seemingly simple, terraforming. The colony, officially named New Hope, housed 12,000 humans who had turned the once barren planet into a thriving paradise within just 5 years. Colony Administrator Sarah Chen walked through the central plaza, watching children play in the artificial streams while farmers discussed crop rotations near holographic weather displays. The morning air smelled of fresh bread from the bakery district, and somewhere nearby, someone was practicing violin beneath the dome's filtered sunlight. Administrator, called Director of Agriculture Marcus Reed, his weathered face breaking into a smile. The new shipment from Earth just cleared customs. All signatures confirmed. The entire manifest made it through. Sarah nodded, her eyes sparkling with relief. "Excellent timing. Distribute them according to the integration protocols. Make sure everyone follows the bonding procedures exactly." "Already done," Marcus replied. The kids are practically bouncing off the walls with excitement. The calm morning shattered as emergency sirens pierced the air. Sarah's communicator crackled to life with urgent reports. Unknown objects entering atmosphere. Multiple impact sites detected around the perimeter. "This is Colonial Defense," Lieutenant James Wong's voice transmitted. "We have confirmation of hostile deployment. Zexian war beasts, at least 24 specimens." Sarah's expression remained remarkably composed. "Implement Protocol Omega. It seems our guests have arrived earlier than expected." "Ma'am, with respect," Wong protested, "Omega hasn't been field tested against Zexian bioweapons. We should evacuate civilians to the bunkers." "Negative, Lieutenant. Trust the protocol. And remind everyone, no aggressive actions unless absolutely necessary." The first war beast emerged from impact smoke like a demon from ancient nightmares. Standing 3 meters tall, its obsidian carapace reflected light in ways that confused the eye. 6 legs propelled it with spider-like precision, while tentacular appendages whipped through the air, sampling scents and electromagnetic fields. Its head, an unholy fusion of shark and praying mantis, rotated freely to track movement with compound eyes glowing crimson. "Magnificent," breathed Vector aboard the warship. Specimen Alpha 7 shows perfect atmospheric adaptation. Neural telemetry indicates heightened hunting protocols engaging. The beast stalked toward the colony's agricultural sector, its sensory organs detecting numerous heat signatures. Perfect. Soft targets to demonstrate Zexian superiority. Young Emma Rodriguez should have been terrified. The 10-year-old stood alone in the wheat field, watching the nightmare creature approach with calculated menace. Instead, she smiled and raised her hand. "Cooper," she called out cheerfully. "Time to play." From the golden wheat emerged what appeared to be an ordinary German shepherd, except for subtle differences that spoke of generations of selective breeding, and perhaps something more. Cooper's eyes held an intelligence that bordered on unsettling, and his muscles moved with perfect efficiency beneath a coat that seemed to shimmer slightly in the sunlight. The war beast paused, its predatory instincts suddenly conflicted. This small canine registered as neither prey nor threat, yet something about it triggered deep warning signals in its engineered brain. "Impossible," Vekthar muttered, watching through the beast's optical feed. "That's just a primitive domesticated animal. Why is Alpha 7 hesitating?" Cooper sat calmly beside Emma, his tail wagging slightly as he studied the Zhexian monster. The war beast took another step forward, mandibles clicking with anticipation. Cooper's ears perked up, and he let out a soft bark that somehow carried across the field with unusual clarity. The response was immediate and overwhelming. From every direction, more dogs appeared, not just shepherds, but breeds the Zhexians had never encountered. Massive Tibetan mastiffs emerged from the forest line, their thick fur hiding powerful frames. Lean Rhodesian ridgebacks flanked the wheat field, moving with the coordinated precision of ancient lion hunters. Stocky Rottweilers took positions near the colony buildings, their deep chests resonating with warning growls. "Admiral," Vekthar's voice trembled, "we're detecting anomalous readings from these creatures. They're not normal animals." Zelthas leaned forward, his compound eyes narrowing. "Elaborate." "Their neural patterns show unprecedented complexity. And there's something else. They seem to be communicating on frequencies our war beasts can't fully interpret." The war beast, designed to be an apex predator without fear or hesitation, took an involuntary step backward. Cooper stood slowly, his posture shifting subtly from friendly companion to something far more primal. The transformation was so smooth it seemed almost magical. One moment a beloved pet, the next a creature that radiated controlled lethality. Emma patted Cooper's head affectionately. "Good boy. Remember what Mom said. We only fight to protect, never to harm." Across the colony, similar scenes unfolded. War beasts that could tear through starship hulls found themselves facing creatures that seemed ordinary at first glance, but radiated an aura of quiet confidence that spoke of millennia of evolution alongside the galaxy's most adaptable species. In the Colonial Command Center, Sarah Chen monitored the situation with calm satisfaction. "Status report. All companions are in position," Marcus replied. "The integration from this morning's shipment is proceeding faster than expected. It's like they knew this was coming." "Perhaps they did," Sarah mused. "After all, we've been preparing for this moment since our ancestors first shared fire with wolves." The Zhexians watched in mounting confusion as their perfect killing machines hesitated before what appeared to be simple domesticated animals. They couldn't comprehend what they were witnessing, the result of a partnership forged not in laboratories, but through genuine cooperation and mutual respect, spanning thousands of generations. The war beast facing Cooper and Emma made its decision. With a roar that shook the ground, it charged. Cooper waited until the last possible moment before moving, not away, but directly toward the monster. What followed defied Zhexian understanding of biology and physics. Cooper seemed to flow around the beast's attacks, each movement precise and economical. Where the war beast relied on engineered power and programmed tactics, Cooper displayed something far more dangerous: intuition honed by countless generations of evolution alongside beings who valued intelligence over brute strength. The German shepherd didn't attack directly. Instead, he harried and redirected, using the beast's own momentum against it. Meanwhile, the other dogs had formed a perfect perimeter, not engaging but clearly communicating that this was their territory, their pack, their humans. "This is impossible," Zelthas roared. "Deploy the remaining specimens immediately. Overwhelm them with numbers." But even as more pods rained down on Proxima VI, a fundamental truth was becoming clear to the watching Zexians. They had made a catastrophic mistake in assuming humans were defenseless simply because they chose not to display their strength. The humbling lesson. The second wave of war beasts emerged into a transformed battlefield. What the Zexians had intended as a demonstration of overwhelming force became instead a masterclass in evolutionary partnership. As 20 more nightmarish creatures poured from their landing pods, they found themselves facing not just dogs, but the full spectrum of humanity's ancient companions. From the forest shadows padded creatures that made even the most hardened Zexian officers pause. Enormous felines moved with liquid grace, not the small domestic cats the aliens had dismissed in their preliminary surveys, but magnificent specimens that spoke of careful preservation of ancient bloodlines. Maine Coons the size of young tigers, Norwegian forest cats with muscles rippling beneath luxurious coats, and most surprisingly, several actual big cats that moved with the easy familiarity of house pets. Administrator Chen, Lieutenant Wang's voice crackled over the comm. The wildlife preserve just opened their enclosures. Are you seeing this? Sarah smiled as she watched through the colony's surveillance system. A pair of snow leopards had taken position on the communications tower, their pale forms nearly invisible against the structure. Below them, a rescued tiger named Raja, officially classified as an educational specimen, strolled casually through the main street, as if on a morning patrol. "Nature finds a way, Lieutenant," she replied. "And sometimes, nature and nurture work together." In the Zexian command ship, chaos reigned. Biomonitors showed their war beasts' stress levels skyrocketing, their engineered confidence crumbling in the face of something their creators couldn't comprehend. "Admiral." Vekthar's scales had turned pale with shock. "These creatures, they're not behaving like animals. They're coordinating, strategizing, and I think they're enjoying this." The tactical display showed war beasts being systematically corralled and contained, not through violence, but through an intricate dance of intimidation and misdirection. A group of border collies had somehow managed to herd 3 war beasts into a box canyon, using nothing but positioning and those intense, hypnotic stares that had controlled sheep for generations. At the colony's eastern perimeter, a war beast found itself face to face with something that challenged its very understanding of reality. The creature before it appeared to be a horse, but no horse should radiate such an aura of controlled power. This was Thunderbolt, a Frisian stallion whose bloodline traced back to medieval warhorses. His hooves struck sparks from the ground as he reared, not in fear, but in challenge. The war beast, engineered to hunt anything that moved, hesitated. Its primitive brain recognized something ancient and terrible in the horse's eyes, the look of a creature that had carried warriors into battle when Zexians were still crawling in primordial pools. "Sir," a junior officer aboard the Zexian ship whispered, "I've been analyzing historical data. These humans, they didn't just domesticate animals. They formed symbiotic partnerships with apex predators. They turned wolves into companions, made allies of creatures that should have been their natural enemies." Admiral Zelthaz's mandibles clicked frantically. "Impossible. No species achieves dominance through cooperation. Power comes from subjugation." But the evidence unfolding below contradicted every principle of Zexian philosophy. A war beast cornered a group of human children near the school complex, its killing protocols overriding confusion. Before it could strike, the air filled with a sound that awakened primal fears in its engineered brain. The hunting cry of raptors. From the sky descended a squadron of birds that defied categorization. Hawks, eagles, and falcons dove with precision that spoke of millennia of partnership with human hunters. But most terrifying were the corvids, ravens and crows whose intelligence allowed them to use tools and solve complex problems. They harassed the war beast mercilessly, striking at sensitive sensory organs while staying just out of reach. 9-year-old Tommy Chen stood calmly as the aerial assault continued, his pet raven Po perched on his shoulder. "You see," He explained to his frightened classmates, "Poe's family has been with us since great-great-grandpa's time. They remember everything." The war beast retreated, its nervous system overwhelmed by attacks coming from every direction: ground, air, and even from the small creatures it had been programmed to ignore. Rats and ferrets emerged from the colony's infrastructure, using their intimate knowledge of human spaces to strike at vulnerable points before disappearing back into the shadows. In the agricultural sector, Emma and Cooper had been joined by reinforcements. A pair of oxen, descendants of aurochs that had pulled human plows for thousands of years, stood like living walls protecting the children. Their presence alone spoke of strength that needed no demonstration. But the true revelation came when the colony's research center opened its specialized containment units. Dr. Elena Vasquez led out specimens that represented humanity's most ambitious partnerships. A wolf-dog hybrid whose DNA carried markers from both species moved with impossible grace. A fox that showed signs of the same domestication syndrome that had transformed wolves into dogs centuries ago. And most remarkably, a bear that treated the elderly scientist like a beloved family member. "The fools," Vecthar whispered, watching his life's work crumble. "We thought we were masters of bioengineering, but they've been perfecting it through natural selection and mutual benefit for millennia." On the ground, the tide had turned completely. War beasts designed to inspire terror found themselves surrounded by creatures that viewed them not as threats, but as problems to be solved. The dogs, cats, horses, and birds worked in perfect synchronization, each species contributing its unique abilities to contain the invasion without unnecessary bloodshed. Sarah Chen activated the colony-wide broadcast. "To our Jexian observers, this demonstration is now concluded. You've seen what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. We chose not to display our military capabilities because we prefer peace. But make no mistake, every human carries within them the legacy of ancestors who looked into the eyes of predators and saw not enemies, but potential friends." She paused, allowing her words to sink in. "Your war beasts are contained but unharmed. We offer you a choice: retrieve them peacefully, or continue this conflict and learn why humanity is considered the galaxy's most adaptable species." Admiral Zelphus stared at the tactical display in disbelief. His unstoppable war beasts sat subdued, some even showing signs of curiosity toward their captors. The humans hadn't deployed advanced weapons or revealed hidden military installations. They had simply demonstrated the power of relationships forged over millennia of shared evolution. "Begin retrieval operations," he ordered quietly, "and send a message to the Coalition Council. Classification of human colonies needs immediate review." As Jexian recovery teams descended to collect their humbled bioweapons, they witnessed something that would haunt their species' collective memory. Human children played freely around creatures that should have terrified them. Dogs that had faced down war beasts now rolled in the grass with toddlers. Cats that had hunted with ruthless efficiency now purred in the laps of elderly colonists. Emily Rodriguez sat with Cooper's head in her lap, watching as a confused war beast was gently herded toward a recovery pod by a mixed group of collies and shepherds. "They're not mean," she said to the nearest Jexian soldier. "They're just scared. Like Cooper was when we first found him as a puppy." The soldier, despite lacking the facial structure for human expressions, somehow managed to convey utter bewilderment. "You tamed these creatures?" Sarah Chen approached, offering a data pad with historical records. "We didn't tame them. We invited them to join our families. There's a difference. Your empire might rule through fear, but we've learned that love creates bonds stronger than any chain." As the Jexian ship departed Proxima VI, its crew carried more than defeated war beasts. They carried a story that would spread throughout the galaxy, of a species that had turned nature's most fearsome predators into loyal protectors through nothing more than patience, understanding, and genuine affection. The official report to the Galactic Coalition was brief, but carried unprecedented weight. Humanity. Classification: highly adaptive. Threat level: Potentially catastrophic. Recommended approach. Diplomatic engagement only. Note: their domestication protocols appear capable of subverting any biological entity given sufficient time. On Proxima VI, life returned to normal. Children played with their dogs, cats dozed in sunbeams, and horses grazed in peaceful meadows. But throughout the galaxy, other species looked at humans with new respect and a healthy dose of caution. For they had learned that humanity's greatest strength lay not in weapons or technology, but in their unique ability to turn enemies into allies, predators into protectors, and strangers into family. The war beasts, returned to Jexian custody, were never quite the same. They had encountered something their engineering couldn't account for: the power of genuine connection. Some even began showing signs of what their creators fearfully termed domestication syndrome, responding positively to gentle treatment and seeking approval rather than cowering in programmed obedience. And so the stories spread across the stars. When the mighty Jexian Empire sent monsters to human colonies, they discovered that humanity had long ago mastered the art of turning monsters into friends. The galaxy would never look at either species the same way again.